Hi, I'm Bill. I'm a salty old Marine. Let's talk about digging for gold. Just like the miner 49er, it's important for your VA disability claim to be a miner. What do I mean by that? Well, many veterans leave a lot of potential successful claims on the table. They miss out on many thousands of dollars in disability because they don't look deep enough. So this is what I mean by being a miner. A lot of times veterans know what the obvious things are. For example, tinnitus, a very common claim that veterans make and very commonly successful. It's a 10% claim. It means ringing in the ears. Others are things like PTSD. Well, veterans who suffer from PTSD pretty well know it. And many veterans do, in fact, claim disability for PTSD. But what else? Well, let's think about this. When you were serving in the military, maybe you went to sick bay once, twice, several times. And when you went to sick call, you complained about this or that. And guess what? They wrote it down. Even if all they did was give you some Motrin and send you back to your unit, or give you a light duty chit for a day or so, they wrote down what you told them you had, and they ran tests if necessary, and if you were injured, they provided treatment, and all of those things are in your records. Now the question is, do any of those things pertain to today? Well, they might. They might not, but you don't know that until you have gone through your records. So what I suggest is this. If you've been treated by the VA, make sure you pull a copy of your current VA medical records, which you can get online through My HealtheVet, and we'll put a link in the description. If you served and have copies of your treatment records, great. If you don't, you can get those through the National Archives or NARA. I'll put a link in the description again. So I suggest that you get copies of those. And if you've been to private doctors, which most of us have over the years, let's start looking at those records. Think about the things that have affected you and what you've gone to seek treatment for and what you might have complained about, even if you were just there for a annual physical or something along those lines. So here's what I'm talking about. When I first got involved with the VA in terms of disability, I claimed the obvious, tinnitus. That was a big one. I also eventually claimed PTSD because I suffer from PTSD, and I won both those claims, so I'm service-connected for those two things. But I've got some other medical issues, and I never really thought about how those might or might not be connected to my service-connected conditions. We've call those secondary conditions, and we've talked about those in other videos. So for example, I also suffer from migraine headaches. They were fairly frequent until recently when I found a neurologist who prescribed a once-a-month shot that goes into my thigh, and now I'm getting them about once a month instead of once a week. But I still have migraines. Did I have migraines while I was on active duty? No, I did not. I didn't have my first migraine until I was 28 years old, and I had been out for about 3 years. So are they service-connected? Well, the truth is, I don't know. In fact, nobody knows. However, I have found research that ties PTSD to migraines. Now, what does that mean? It means it's an avenue that might be worth exploring because migraine headaches can be a 30 to 50% disability rating if they are service-connected. So now I have to investigate and think about excuse me, whether or not I want to file a claim for a secondary condition for migraines to PTSD. But wait, there's more. I have diabetes. Is that related to PTSD? No, probably not. On the other hand, it can be related to obesity. Obesity can cause diabetes. There's scientific evidence to that. Well, as a result of my PTSD, I overate. and I got put on weight control for a brief period of time. That's in my record books. So, PTSD to obesity to diabetes. That's a possibility. Now, did my PTSD cause my diabetes? Again, I don't know. Nobody knows. There is no doctor who can say yes or no with any real certainty, because so many of these things are a mystery. It could be genetics. It could be the way I treated myself after I got out, which had nothing to do with PTSD. But how would I know? Because PTSD affected every aspect of my life. And it definitely caused me to overeat, because that's what the VA used to establish my PTSD claim. So it's in my records. It's been used as a marker in my PTSD. Kind of interesting, isn't it? Something to think about. Well, continuing to mind my records, GERD, that is acid reflux. IBS, unfortunate that. Well, there's a whole lot of symptoms, whole lot of medical conditions. You probably have some too, especially if you're getting older. Some of these conditions that we suffer as younger people doesn't show up until later on. And the VA does recognize that, although sometimes it can be tough to prove to the VA. But my point here is this. If you're trying to maximize your VA disability legally, using your current conditions and tying them accurately and correctly to your military service, you have to start by going through all of your records. Make a list of every single thing you were treated for while you were in the military. Make a list of the things you've been treated for after you've gotten out of the military. Think about what all your current medical conditions are. And then start thinking about how they might or might not be related. Hey, if they're not related, they're not related. Don't make a VA claim about it. But if they are, or if they might be, then you need to think about that, because the burden of proof for VA disability is at least as likely as not, meaning roughly 50-50. So if the chances are that your current condition, whatever it is related to another condition that you've been service-connected for, at least on a 50% basis, you'll get that claim. This is Bill. I'm the salty old Marine. I hope you found this video useful. Please like, share, subscribe, share it with a friend. And as always, have a great day.